Let's go, guys. So this video is going to be about how do we maximize and increase the ways, all the different directions within which you can make more money in your event venue business. How do we maximize that, right? How do we get it from more places, how do we make it so that there's more and more and more and more directions within which we get to make money within our venue, right? How do we maximize that process? So again, I'm going to be looking at notes and we're going to break it down, okay? So the most important way that we can go ahead and make sure that we start maximizing that, right, is first, like we've already talked about, maximize the amount of money we get from each customer, right? So that's one of the most important thing. The next thing is, how do you go ahead and every person that doesn't close with you, what do you do with them, right? Do you say, well, if they didn't close with me, they ain't worth nothing. I showed them my best possible conversation. I did my best possible open house. And if they didn't book with me then, they'll never book with me ever and they're trash, right? Do you have that approach and take it a little personally that they didn't book with you? Or do you nurture them? Do you say, hey, I completely understand if you couldn't book this time, but because you've tried to see, why don't we invite you to every event that we have? And depending on how much you can make that customer worth to you, remember, if you can make a customer worth $100,000 to you over the next 10 years, and if maybe 20% of every customer that signs up with you once, right, you can get them to sign up for the next 5 years, and maybe half of those people who sign up for 5 years sign up for the lifetime package, right? And you know the math. Well, on average, if I get 100 bookings, half of them are going to be, 20% of them are going to be spending $25,000 with me over the next 5 years, and the other half of those are going to be spending $100,000 over the lifetime of their, right? So if that's how much money I'll be creating, I know I can spend $300 to try to get a customer to come in, $400, $500 to try to get someone to go ahead and come in, right? So I know I can invest that much, but now we want to go ahead and take advantage of something maybe that has perceived value, like we've talked about before, like the rental furniture, right? So again, we go back to what do we do when someone falls out of our sales cycle, right? They come to an open house and they don't buy, they don't book. Oh, well, let's do something with them. Hey, we have Monday through Friday, we have public events coming through. We have pop-up shops, and we have business events, and we have different types of networking events, and we have the paint and sip, and we have all these open events. Because you've been at the open house and you've inquired, right? You can give them a half-off ticket to all the events. Hey, any of the next 5 events that you come to, you get half off. Bring a friend, right? Now, not only are they coming back into your space, and now you have another opportunity for them, not only for them to be in your space and you to have a conversation, have an opportunity to do another sales conversation. Before you even get to that, they're getting to participate in a fun, exciting event that they've chosen to come back into, right? And they're super excited and they're having a good time. And when's the best time for you to ask for a person to be able to put down some money? Then when they're the most excited, right? So you have a great public event and you say, hey, welcome back into the space, right? Your time is still available. Let's go ahead and lock that in for you, right? Do you want to put your deposit down with your debit or your credit, right? Ask for the sale again. And you have a legitimate reason to, because they just had a good time at your space. Look at that. Maybe that time they say no, right? Or maybe they say yes, right? Some percentage of them will be like, yeah, let's do it. I had such a good time today. I want to do that again. Maybe they say no. They come back to another event. Hey, I just had this event. You add a little pressure. You say, hey, I just got off the phone with a person who wants to book your day. Oh, but because I already know you, right, I'm giving you precedence. Right? If you lock it in today, right, not only will you give you the date, we'll throw in this free thing for you that has a high perceived value, right? Again, the thing that you give them might cost you nothing, right? Maybe it's the strobe lights that you already have. Hey, you get that in for free. If they try to get it themselves, it would cost them $1,000 to get the strobe lights. But you already have it. It's in the closet. You don't use it, most of the days. You just say, hey, I'll give it to you for free. Costs you nothing, gets you a customer. Wow, right? And guess what? Now they booked the first one. Now you can say, well, most of our customers actually booked the next 5 birthdays for the next 5 years. Your days are still available. Let's book them now. What are 20% of people going to do? They're going to say, all right, no problem, because they're excited. They just paid you. They're the most excited they're ever going to be. So ask them for more, of course. And then some of those people are going to be like, half of the people are, well, perfect. Since you booked these 5 years, we actually have a lifetime package. Book all the events for the rest of your life. Yeah, okay, no problem. And if you prepay them, you get the last 2 years for free. Wow, what a deal, right? Some people are going to take it. Be like, hey, all right, well, if I prepay the next 10, 20 years, maybe it'll be 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 bucks, right? Somebody's, there's a percentage of people that will, yeah, no problem. That price is not the most important thing to them. Experiences, right? And even if they don't pay the whole thing, they're at least booking and putting the down payments down. And you got 10, 20, 30, 40 years of customers that you wouldn't have had, right? Is it worth it to give people the strobe lights for $100,000 worth of lifetime value? Yes. If you don't know the answer, yes. The answer is yes. Yes. Give them the strobe lights that are in the closet that are not being used to get them to spend more money with you. Yes, because you if you didn't give it to them that day, it would have just been in the closet regardless. You wouldn't have used it regardless. You see what I mean? So take advantage of everything, right? Now, you want to think about so that you can have more artillery, more tools, right, to use. What's everything, and take track of everything in your business, right, that you can use that seems like it has a high perceived value to your customers, but it costs you nothing, right? The strobe lights or the rental furniture, all those stuff, right? So that's the process you do when someone falls out of your sales process, right? Same thing you can do with people on the phone, right? They answer the phone, they never come into the open house, right? You have them on a newsletter. Hey, every week they get something new, and the email says, this is how you run a great event. These are all the great events that are happening, right? Invite them to the events for some kind of discount, right? Again, when you give a discount for an event, it doesn't cost you anything because you're paying that, you're subsidizing them, but you're really not paying anything because you're not losing money if they don't pay that ticket, right? And even if it costs less, they're paying you to have an opportunity for you to have an opportunity to resell them again. And then some percentage of those people are going to buy, right? And they don't buy the first time. You keep inviting them to more and more events. And eventually the only place they go to for events, or the first place they think about when they think about events, is yours. And the next event that they're going to they're 10 times more likely to book with you because they've tried to book with you and they've went to 10 events and they had a great time and you brought it up every time and you, all right, well, let's do it. All right. Something free and simple. You could do this today, right? Just take advantage of what you got. There's so much value inside your space already. So that's one thing that you can do when people they fall out of the sales process, right? So what's the next thing that we could do, right? What's another way that we can bring money into the business, right? That's working with a person that falls out. What's another thing that we can do? We can work with all the vendors and have the vendors pay you every time you invite them into an event, right? What does that mean? You're bringing in the business. You're doing the work to close the deals, right? You're talking to the people. You're bringing them to open houses. You're closing them, right? The vendors, right? The DJs and the party planners and the music and the catering and the furniture rental and the ball pit and all the stuff that happens that is a part of the party experience, all those vendors, right? How do you take advantage of the fact that you have the leverage in that relationship? You're bringing the business in. You can tell every vendor, hey, when we do a partnership and we do a revenue share, right? I'll take 30%, right? And whatever you charge, I'll take 30%, right? Whatever you can negotiate, take as much as you can, Be reciprocal, of course, or you want a good relationship because you want to last long. But remember, you're bringing in the business, right? So have a reciprocal relationship where it makes sense. You're like, hey, whatever you charge, I'll take 30%. I'll take 20%, right? I'll take 10, 20, 30, whatever you can negotiate to be able to build that relationship with that person so that it's like, well, I'm going to bring in the customer, right? You're going to bring in the DJ capacity and providing. But because I brought the customer in, you got to pay me 30% of what you charge, right? Whatever you can negotiate. Some people, maybe they'll do 10, 20, 30, whatever you can, right? But you're bringing in the customer. So you say, hey, DJ, every time I bring in a customer, I'll call you first, right? You just got to give me 30% of it, right? Maybe some people it's too much, whatever. You'll find someone that says yes to your deal, right? You're going to find a DJ that's good. And you're also going to find a DJ, if they're good enough at their service, they'll be able to charge a high enough amount that it'll make sense for them, right? And again, you got to negotiate. Maybe some DJs will take 20, some DJs will take 30. Maybe a DJ will give you 50%, right? Who knows? You got to ask, right? Let's say, so you do that with the DJ, you do that with the party planner, you do that with the furniture rental place, you do that with the decorators, you do that with all of them, right? And guess what happens? Now, not only you're making money from the customer, you're making money from every vendor, and every vendor has a reason to keep coming back because you're doing the work to make the money come to you, right? So you have multiple ways the money is coming in. Plus, you're plugging the hole of the fact that that customer, instead of them leaving and never coming back and going to another competitor, you give them reasons to keep coming back and experiencing your place, right? And because they're experiencing your place over and over and over again, they're much more likely to become a lifetime customer for you, so they're willing to spend more money with you, right? And because you keep bringing in business all the time, and because you have lifetime customers who keep booking with you over and over again, and because you're doing so much work to keep yourself busy, all the vendors are going to be more than happy to pay that charge because you're keeping them busy, right? Maybe without you being so industrious, maybe they'd have a week between every event and they're not making as much as they want to. They'll make more money paying you more because you've given them something more consistently, right? And because you've put the deal together, you can say, hey, every time a person wants Caribbean food, I'm going to call you first. We just got to do this deal, right? Makes sense. Something simple. It's reciprocal, right? You bring in the business, they need work. Give it to them. Just charge them for it. Okay? How many ways can you put money into the business? How many ways? And don't think of it like you're selfish. You're providing extreme value. Think about what they're getting, right? You're giving them livelihoods. If they don't have, maybe they don't have other ways to make money other than the people that you're booking with them, right? You're providing value. And if they take the deal, it's a good deal for them. Just, think about it. You're growing your business. You're in the business of making more. So why you're here. Right? So that's one thing you can do. What's the next thing you can do? Right? There's other ways you can add to the value. Every single time you have an event, right, you have to think about the value, not just of the clients, the people who pay to book the space, but how many people are going through your event space on a weekly basis. On average, every event space, if they are only booking the weekends, has a flow of between 350 to 500 people on a weekly basis going through your doors every single week. Most of these people are adults, right? Most of these people have working jobs, and most of these people have money that they can be spending with you. And all of these people are having incredible experiences where every time they go to your space, or the one time that they went to your space, they had a great time. Right? Where is a person more likely to spend money than in the place that they just had an incredible time, right? So take advantage of the fact that you have 300 to 500 people walking through your doors with money that are having a great time at your place and would love to give you more, right? They love to pay you to do something because they're enjoying it so much, right? When's the last time that you went to do something, you enjoyed it so much that you spent money you didn't think you didn't want to, right? But you spent it because you had such a good time. Same thing is true for them, right? Think about it. So 300, 500 people, how do you maximize and bring that money back? How do you get those people to go from experiencing an event at auntie's birthday or coming to the cousin's thing and doing this one time and coming to your space one time and turning them into people that keep coming back into your space, right? And 100% of you, I would hope at least most of you, right, have had a whole bunch of referrals happen naturally. Every time you finish an event, someone in the event says, hey, I want to organize an event here, right? So if it happens by accident, right, if money is coming to you by accident, take advantage, do something about it, make it happen on purpose, right? If you get every event 1, 2, 3, or 5 people that say, hey, I want to book a space with you because I had such a great time, why don't you formalize it and at the end of every event say, hey, anybody that wants to book a space, you get this, right? And if you don't want to be that direct, every time a person comes through your door, take their name, their number, their email, their event preferences, and if they ever want to organize an event, right? And then send them emails saying, hey, when you want to organize an event, come here. Or, hey, I know you said you like this type of event, come to this event. And now they came back to the event, and just the same way you could resell a person that came to an open house and didn't close, you can do the same thing with this person. Say, hey, what kind of events would you love to be? I saw on your form that you want to organize events. What kind of events would you love to organize? Or you're going to ask them, hey, what kind of events on the form? Hey, I saw that you want to organize this birthdays events, right? You can again ask them, when's your birthday? Hey, your birthday's available on the calendar. Why don't we go ahead and book your birthday? And that can be the first event that you hold with us. And when you book, perfect, maybe they close. Oh, yeah, why not? Maybe they had such a good time at the event. Oh, perfect. Since you did that, right, we actually have your birthday available for the next 10 years. Let's book that. And we have all the lifetime events for the next 5 years, 10 years, right? Oh, let's book that, right? And if you prepay it, you get the last 2 years for free. Oh, let's do it, right? Remember, and it's a numbers game, right? But because you're given more opportunities for you to succeed and get more sales and create more lifetime customers, it's going to be that much better for you. You see what I mean? And how much did it cost you to get that person that was a guest at one of the events that had been held by that's someone that paid you to book the time in your space? How much did it cost you to get that person through your door? $0, right? But you put the work in to make sure they came back and gave them a reason to keep coming back so that you had more opportunities to sell them on becoming a customer and then a lifetime customer. All right? Think about it and take advantage of the fact that there's a lot of people coming through your doors. That's another way to add another stream of revenue in your business. You got all these people that can become clients that are coming through your space and having a great time every single week. Make a system out of it so that the thing that's happening by accident with the referrals of people saying, hey, I want to book a space, happens on purpose, and you can maximize on, maybe it's 5 people that actually go to you, and maybe there's 20 people that are thinking about it, and if you just ask them in a formalized way, you get all of them to come to you and say, hey, I want to do this, right? And then all of a sudden it becomes 10 times easier to close them because they're already family members, right? And they all already know when all the special events are, and maybe you set up a family deal. Hey, since it's the family, why don't we set up so the whole family gets all the family events and we can book you up for the next 5-10 years as a family? Just put down $20,000 as a family and we'll set up all the events for you for the next 10 years, right? Doesn't that feel good? Don't you like the feeling of that, of meeting a family and being like, hey, this is your home for events for the next 10 years? That feels good, right? And you're going to get paid, and they're going to be happy to pay you because now they know, hey, the next 10 years of events is all it's set up. And they might even have a better life. Why? Because now every year they're thinking, well, if I'm going to have an event here, let's do something fun this year. Let's achieve something this year so that we have more stuff to celebrate, right? And you might even put families on the pathway to success because you're saying, well, if you book this birthday, next birthday, why don't you increase your net worth by this much by the end of this next birthday, right? Wow, isn't that a great plan that you just gave this family, right? And you set them up on an improvement plan, Now you're not selling space or an event, you're selling life improvement. You're selling their life improving over time. You're selling their family joy, right? You're selling wealth in the family. That's what you're selling, right? How much easier is it to sell a happy life and a happy family and a wealth building, a generational wealth family events, right? And being able to have them constantly working and improving and wanting to make each family event better than the last one. How much easier is that to sell than just space, right? And guess what? You get a relationship with these people and they like you and you like them. You probably have a good time. Maybe you go to the events and you smile and you're happy, right? Life can improve for you. You can do more. You can do more than what you're doing. So just work on. You see, that's an opportunity there, right? And it's a feel-good opportunity because you're doing a lot for them. And the next family that hears that you're doing that for them, you can do it with the next one, right? And now you got 20 families who all have the next 20 years of their life events, most important ones, booked up. And that means that you got 20 days out of every year that's for each family, for all the life events going on and all the people, right? And there's going to be more all the time because there's going to be birthdays, and people are going to be born, and marriages, all this stuff happening. And you're going to be the epicenter of where their life happens. All the most important parts of their life, they get to celebrate with you. How much money is going to come to you? Because you're providing so much value. That's the return on it, right? So remember, that's another way that you can maximize on how much money you're making is you got all these people coming through your space. How do you make them into lifetime individual customers and families into lifetime customers, right? You're going to have an easier time with the family because they get to spread the risk and spread the cost across each other. And there's more birthdays with the whole family, right? Everybody has a birthday, right? If you get 20 people in the family wanting to book all the times with you, maybe you get 3 or 4 or 5 people that are the leaders of it, but you got 20 different birthdays out of the year that they get to book. Wow, that's great, right? Think about that. The next one, right? So you have that capacity to have the families come in and be able to resell all those people that are in the space, right? Next one. How do we run ticketed events in your space, right? What's a ticketed event? Think about from the perspective of, let's say you're running a paint and sip. You have a paint and sip in the space. Maybe every Thursday you do a paint and sip, every other Thursday, whatever makes sense, right? You have 350 to 500 people or more, maybe 1,000 people when you book up the whole week. You might have over 1,000 people coming through your doors every week. Most of these people are new, and you collect their information every time they come through the door, so you understand who they are, what their name is, their email, right, their phone number, what their preferences are in events, and if they want to organize any events and what their birthday is and all this stuff. You collect all this information, so you know everything about all 1,000 people coming through your space every single week, right? And you have a paint and sip. And on the form that you have everybody fill out, it says information about what they like. Maybe on one of them it says, I like paint and sips, right? So every week you get maybe 10, 20% of people that say, I would love to go to a paint and sip. That's 200 people a week. By the end of the month, you got 800 people that are saying, hey, I want to go to a paint and sip. And you run a paint and sip every Tuesday or Thursday, and you say, hey, it's $50 for the canvas and the wine, and come. Right? 400 people. You invite 400 extra people. You get 400 extra people every week, every month that say, hey, I want to do, or 800 extra people that, hey, I want to do a paint and sip, right? You invite 800 of them, right? How many people show? Maybe 20% of the people show, right? Each paint and sip is booked. Let's say you got a 150 person capacity, right? 50 times 150, what? Let's do, right? That's 15, $7,500. You get $7,500 from one day, right? You could charge more, right? And that's one event. Maybe you do 2 paint and sips that day. Maybe you do 3. I don't know. Add them up. How many more can you do, right? And maybe from this one paint and sip event, you end up making more money than you did the whole week just because you're capitalizing on it. And maybe you organize it. Maybe you find a person that's willing to organize it for $200, right? You pay them $200. They teach everyone how to paint and sip, and you collect $7,500. You know, you're left with $7,300 for it. That's great, right? And it's not like you had to market it. The people that are booking your space are marketing all the bodies coming through your space. That's another way, and that's just one type of event. Maybe you find someone that wants to organize business events, And these are like workshops and seminars, and they're $500,000 a head to come in to learn something about how to run a business, right? People who want to learn how to run a business don't mind spending $500,000 because they're looking at it as an investment. If I spend $1,000 learning about this thing, I'll make $10,000 back. It makes sense, right? Business owners think that way, right? And you should be thinking that way too. If I need to invest $3,000, $5,000 to make $50,000, I'll do that in a heartbeat, right? I believe in my own capacity to apply what I learn. So let me learn, right? That's what you should be doing, right? That's the top 5% of people do. They're always learning, okay? At any rate, you have an event like that. Maybe you invite 100 people. They all pay $1,000. That's $100,000 right there in one day. And you get maybe you split it with the person, or maybe you say, hey, I'll pay you $10,000 to run this event, right? Whatever, you make a negotiation, you have a relationship, they teach something great, you make the money, you make more in the day than you've made in the last 3 months. Isn't that great, right? And you have another opportunity to make more, and you could do that once a month or 2 times a month, right? Or maybe you have different types of events that you have. Right? And you charge different amounts, and you discover, wow, every person, and now you have synergistic things that are going on, right? Every Monday, or let's say first Monday of the month, you run a business event, they're $1,000 a head, people keep coming back. Every person that's willing to spend $1,000 a head, they're probably making a whole bunch more back in return. That's why they keep spending, because they know it's an investment. So guess what? Hey, we got lifetime packages for you guys. Prepay it today, and you get the rest of all the events are booked for you. Wow, right? Isn't that a great target market that you've generated inside your own business? They're paying you to pitch them on spending more money with you. Oh my God, I didn't know, right? I'm sure most of you guys right now are like hitting yourselves and kicking yourselves in the head thinking, oh my God, I didn't know there was so much potential in my own business. I wasn't aware. I didn't search enough. I didn't try hard enough. I didn't keep going long. I didn't learn enough. I didn't read enough to discover that there's so much opportunity here. Whoa, I'm leaving so much money on the table, right? If that's how you're feeling, you're not alone. A lot of people are feeling that way. But I also know that only the top 5% of people are going to do anything about it, right? And that means that for you 5% of people, there's a lot of money on the table, and you got to go get it. You got to take it now, right? You got to go to do some action, right? You got to read some books, figure out some stuff, right? And the really smart ones of you, and the ones that are doing a really good job, are going to be so busy trying to keep up with a business that they've already built up that they're not going to have enough time to figure all this stuff out. And they're going to be like, well, how can I hire someone to do this? And then they're going to be like, oh, I'm listening to the guy that's going to figure this out for me. And clearly he already understands how to do everything because he's telling me what I'm supposed to be doing. Maybe I should book a time to talk to him. Maybe, right? And again, I know the only top 5% are going to start to take action, and most of them are not going to have enough energy to even follow through. So they're going to hire a person to do it, and it's the most logical one is going to be here. And so just do that and book that time, and let's start growing, right? Let's start your situation. Everybody else who isn't going to take action, the top 95, the bottom 95%, right? You're just leaving an opportunity for us in the top 5 to take everything you got. So either speed up and learn, or bow down and fold up your tent, and we'll just take care of what you left behind, and we'll maximize it, right? However it goes, we're going to win either way, right? So take action, right? That's the whole idea behind this. Is you're going to have you can run all these types of events, and then look at all the flows of cash that you got coming into your business, right? So that's another way that you can bring cash flow into your business, right? Let's keep a track now, right? So you got your main clientele that you're closing, right? You got the ability to make them into lifetime people that are going to be lifetime customers for you, right? There'll be 5, 10 lifetime deals that they have, right? You're going to be able to retarget people that fall out of your sales process, right? Let's say they fell out on the phone, you send them more stuff so they are invited to events, and when they're invited to events, you resell them, right? Some of them are going to close on the 2nd, 3rd, 4th event that they come in. Some of them are just going to keep coming to events and keep paying you to participate in ticketed events that you hold, right? Either way, you'll make money, and they're going to pay you It's for you to sell to them, right? So you're lowering all the costs it takes for you to get a new customer because everyone's paying you for you to sell to them, right? So that's one thing. You're going to retarget the customers that fall out when they do an open house, right? So they do the open house and they don't close, right? You can retarget them, invite them to more events, have them have a good time in your place, and you have the sales conversation again and again, and you close them and you give them deals that seem like it's a lot, right? Hey, I'm going to give you this rental furniture. Costs you nothing because the rental furniture would have been in the closet, or the strobe light would have been in the closet, right? Would have cost you nothing. You probably wouldn't even have taken it out that day, right? Wouldn't have cost you anything. You give it to them, they think it's worth $1,000, $2,000 because that's what people usually pay, right? But you give it to them for free. All of a sudden, wow, that's a great deal. Let me take it, right? And they're like, all right, well, let me book up the next 5 years. Why not, right? And the more you do it, the more you ask for it, the more normal it becomes, right? And the more you attract the right kind of people that are saying, hey, I would love to do that. Right? It's a lot about targeting. It's about like filtering out the people who aren't going to be the great customers and finding the great ones. And even if there aren't great customers, maybe they'll just keep going to your ticketed events and they'll pay you to be in your space, right? And they're going to have a good time and they'll tell more people and they'll invite other people and that'll be great, right? That's fine either way, right? So that's another way that you're going to be making the money. Plus, now you're going to be telling, hey, vendors, I got all these lifetime customers. They want to have a really great experience. Every time you book a space, every time you want to work with us, I'll give you preferential treatment. I'll call you first as long as we split the revenue, right? Whatever the deal is, right? I'll split it 10. I'll take 10%. I'll take 20, 30, 40, 50%, whatever you can, right? Whatever they're comfortable with. Work it out, negotiate it, make sure it makes sense on both sides. Now, not only are you making money because you're closing all the customers, you're making money because they're coming in for a long time, right? They're becoming lifetime customers. You're making more money because you're actually saying, hey, every time I lose a person from the cycle, I'm going to try to bring them back. And every time they come back, they're actually paying me a ticket so that I can resell to them. So I'm making that back. Now, every time I have an event, because they need people to do the DJ and the catering and the decorating and the furniture, I'm going to make the vendors actually pay me so they can be the first person I call to help them book with that space, right? So they pay me. Now I have the stream from the customers that I keep generating. I have the stream from the vendors that I keep getting, right? Now I got at least 2 different streams coming multiple different ways. Plus, now I'm actually running events and I'm having people who are running successful events. And because I got so many people coming through the space, I have 350 to 500 to up to 1,000 people come through the space every week. And I know what they like because I'm taking information. I'm taking their name, number, and all the stuff that they like to go to, right? What kind of events they prefer. Because I have all that information, I get to then fill up the room every Thursday for people who like to do paint and sip. And I get to fill up the room every Monday or every first Monday for business events. Maybe we do it every week. And the paint and sips, I make $7,500. I pay the person $200. I'm left with $7,300, right? And then for the business events, maybe they're $1,000 ahead. I get 100 people in there, right? I pay that person $10,000 or whatever. I'm left with $90,000 on that Monday. Maybe I do that 2 times a month, 4 times a month, however many times we can, right? And those people, because they're spending so much money there and because they're business minded, they're making the money back. That's why they keep coming back, right? Those people are the best kind of clients, right? Hey, now let's go ahead and book them for the rest of their life, right? We're making that kind of money. And we have all the different events that we're doing, right? What else could we do, right? So these are just the beginning of some of the ways that you can, and there's millions of ways that you can keep adding and adding and adding, right? Maybe every single time, like all the people that right? So you got all these ways that you can generate an added revenue into your business, right? And guess what happens, right? Your business goes from maybe making $15,000 per month to being able to generate in excess of $200,000, right? Per month, right? You're past the millionaire status, right? Oh, well, that's great, right? And you can keep adding it. Well, if I have $200,000 of cash flow coming through every month, maybe I can afford a second location, a third location, fourth location, right? Maybe I can afford a couple of virtual assistants to help me grow, right? So I don't need to be taking the calls all the day, or every single day. Maybe I can have a person that's going to do the open house for us, right, and run it, and I don't need to be there. I could go live somewhere else and just it'll work itself. And I'll have a bunch of places, and people will keep wanting to come back, right? Or you have so much cash flow, maybe you buy an auxiliary business. Maybe you buy the rental furniture rental company, and that's yours. So it actually costs you nothing to rent the thing, and you make more profit because you're renting the furniture with it too, right? There you go, right? So these are just some of the ways that you can build up and get more cash flow, right? So again, I'm going to challenge you, and only the top 5% of people are even going to start, and most of them are going to be like, oh my God, I'm so busy that I need some help to do this, but I'm going to challenge you to write down the top 10 things the next 10 things you can do in your business to add value, to add more flows of cash coming in, right? We already ranked maybe 5 or 6 or 7 of them, right? How many more can you think of, right? And you're creative. There's things that you have capacity that is unique to you that you can add, right? Maybe we didn't consider it here, but you can add it. And you're going to think, wait, I could do this, or I could do this, or I could do this, right? 10 different ways. Write them down, submit them, right? Now, again, if you're a serious business owner and you want to grow your situation, you got a person, you're thinking about doing all this, and oh my gosh, I'm already overwhelmed, trying to figure out all these things. Why don't I get some help, right? Why don't I think out of the box and get somebody I can delegate some of this stuff to, and maybe he'll be able to help me, right? And you got all this information. Let me try to apply it. Go ahead, right? And then maybe I need help to apply it. Why don't you get help from the person that's letting you know how to do it? Right? So those serious business owners, like we've been talking about, those top 5% that are ready to grow their business, apply to talk to us, right? We'll have an implementation conversation in your business. And if it makes sense on both sides, we'll help you grow if we think that you're the kind of business owner that's actually serious about growing your business. If we see that you're in the top 5%, you're taking action, and you're willing to do the work that's necessary to grow your business, we'll consider maybe working with you and giving you all the knowledge that we got to be able to grow you, okay? Let's take, for the top 5%, take action. Everybody else, if you don't have the money to work with a person, you got the time. So put the work together, make it happen, make more money in your business, and once you have enough money, then you can apply, and then we'll help you grow it from there, okay? Take action. It's very important, all right? I'll talk to you guys very soon. I'll see you in the next video.